a massive decision, one that's going to shape the financial future for over a crore people in India, has just been set in motion. We're talking about the 8th Pay Commission. And believe me, it has huge implications for the entire Indian economy. So let's break down exactly what this means. And just think about the scale here. This one decision is going to directly impact the salaries and allowances of nearly 50 lakh central government employees. That's everyone from civil servants to the armed forces. And it doesn't stop there. It also touches the financial lives of almost 70 lakh pensioners, people who really count on these revisions for their income after retirement. Okay, to help make sense of it all, here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off with the big announcement, then we'll define what a pay commission actually does, look at its specific instructions, understand the timeline and economic impact, explore the key challenges, and then wrap up with the bottom line. So where are things at right now? Well, the journey has officially begun. The very first formal step has been taken. The Union Cabinet has given the green light to what's called the Terms of Reference, or TOR, for the 8th Pay Commission. This is the crucial first move that really gets the ball rolling. Now, the full report is going to take some time, but the key thing to remember is that the recommendations will be backdated to January 1st, 2026. This makes sure employees get all the benefits from that date onward. But wait, what exactly is a pay commission, and why does this happen every 10 years or so? Let's dig into that. You can think of a pay commission as a special task force set up by the government. Its main job is to do a complete review of the salary and pension system for every central government employee. This regular check-in makes sure their pay keeps up with the rising cost of living, with inflation, and with how the country's economy is growing overall. And this timeline shows you the rhythm of how this works. The 7th Pay Commission's changes were put in place back in 2016. Now here we are in 2025. Starting the process for the 8th, with its changes set to kick in from 2026. This 10-year cycle is a standard part of how public administration works in India. All right, so the process has started, but what exactly has the 8th Pay Commission been told to do? Let's take a look at its official mission. First up, who's making these huge decisions? Well, the commission will be led by a chairperson, usually a very senior person like a retired judge or bureaucrat. They'll be supported by a part-time member and a member secretary from the finance ministry. This is the core team that will guide the entire review. And the commission's to-do list is massive. Trust me, it's about way more than just a simple pay hike. They're going to look at everything from allowances and making pay scales fairer to the pension system, including the very hotly debated national pension system. They'll also compare government salaries with what people earn in public and private companies and figure out the financial hit on state governments and the national economy. And here's what might be the most crucial point of all. The government has put in a specific rule that demands fiscal prudence. Basically, the commission has to balance the well-being of employees with what the government can actually afford. This is a really strong signal that keeping the budget in check is a top priority. Okay, so we know what the commission is going to do. Now for the two really big questions. When will we actually see these changes, and what kind of ripple effect will this have on the wider economy? This isn't something that happens overnight. After the approval, the commission gets formed, and then they'll spend over a year collecting data and talking to all sorts of groups. We're expecting the final report sometime in mid-2027, but remember, the changes will be put in place going all the way back to January 1st, 2026. To really grasp the economic scale of this, just look at that number. The 7th Pay Commission costs the government over 1 lakh crore rupees every single year. The bill for the 8th is expected to be even higher. This makes it one of the biggest financial policy decisions the country will see. Now, spending this much money has major ripple effects. It obviously increases government spending and puts a lot of financial pressure on state governments, since they often follow the central pay scales. And while it can give the economy a nice boost by putting more money in people's pockets, there's also a risk it could fuel inflation and make managing the national deficit a lot trickier. So, with the economic stakes this high, let's look at how the 8th Pay Commission might be different from the last one and the unique challenges it's facing this time around. This table really breaks down the comparison for us. The 7th Commission set a fitment factor, that's basically the multiplier used for the new basic pay, at 2.57, with a minimum pay of 18,000 rupees. For the 8th, the expectation is a higher fitment factor and a big jump in minimum pay. But a really key difference this time is the pension system. While the 7th Commission did revise pensions, the 8th is widely expected to tackle the very contentious issue of the national pension system versus the old pension scheme. That's a huge point of debate for employees. This commission is operating in a pretty tough environment. It has to recommend fair pay increases at a time of global economic uncertainty. There's going to be immense pressure on states with weaker finances to adopt the new scales. And navigating the political minefield around the NPS versus OPS debate, that's going to be a major, major challenge.
So after looking at all these moving parts, when you boil it all down, what's the real purpose of this entire exercise?
Ultimately, it all comes down to a very delicate balancing act. The Eighth Pay Commission's job is to figure out a way to ensure the financial well-being of over a crore public servants and retirees without wrecking the nation's economic stability. It's a task of monumental importance. So what comes next? Well, the things to watch for now will be the official formation of the commission, the announcement of who its chairperson will be, and then the start of consultations all across the country. And I think this final thought really puts it all into perspective. The Eighth Pay Commission is so much more than just a salary adjustment. It's really a recalibration of how India values its public service, especially in an economy that's aiming for sustainable growth. The results of this commission will tell us a lot about the country's economic and social priorities for the next decade.